Hey everyone, and welcome to Episode 6 of Popcorn Problems. My name is Ilan Pressman, and I'm here with my very good friend and fellow co-host,
Nicholas Sapasco. Every week we'll make sure you're caught up with the biggest news in movies in Hollywood.
This week, we'll be reviewing Him, one of last week's biggest new releases. But before we get to that, what's Poppin'? Where we run through the biggest movie stories of the week. What's up, guys? Thank you for joining us for another episode of Popcorn Problems. It's going to be a fun episode. I'm really excited to get into it. Before we do so, me and Nick wanted to tell you about something fun that we did this last weekend. Nick, you want to start us off?
We just went to Halloween Horror Nights. It was honestly a pretty cool experience, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, it was really fun.
This is the third time I've gone, maybe in the past 5-10 years, and it was really nice. I they had a lot of interesting houses, specifically the Five Nights at Freddy's house, which I was like, bro, as someone who grew up with the game, it was kind of like wild to see it in person, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it was just a really fun time. I don't know, Alan, what do you have to say about it?
Yeah, I ended up getting what they call the Rush of Fear pass for this year at Halloween Horror Nights, where it's essentially, it's like, I guess, like an annual pass, but it only gave you access to, like, up to 18 days in September. It's, like, weird. There's, like, only certain days that you had access to, but you had up to 18 opportunities to go. It was like $200, I think. And the last day that we went was when I went with you, which was the 21st. And I had a good time. I think this year was definitely better than last year's. I think last year's was pretty weak. I was with this last time that I went, I officially went to every single house. And so I think overall this year they had a good selection of houses. Not a amazing selection, but they were pretty good. The Terrifier the Terrifier one was really nice. Five Nights at Freddy's was nice. And I really liked LRT stuff personally. What were your top three?
I think my top three were, I think Terrifier was number one. I thought the house was like the most creative. The one part I remember the most is like the intestines coming from like the ceiling.
Yeah. It was really cool.
I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah. I want to say there was another. Oh, the dollhouse was really nice too.
Okay, the doll was good.
Yeah. I just like it when like big things are small and small things are big. Like I think that's really cool, bro. That one land in the Bug's Life from the Bug's Life at Animal Kingdom permanently changed my brain chemistry.
Yeah.
And I want to say also, honestly, like the Five Nights at Freddy's one was like really thought out.
Yeah, it wasn't scary, but the design of the house
it wasn't scary,
really
but
cool.
like you get like a lot of stuff from it and everything like that. You know? Like you get they put a lot of effort into like recreating. It's based off the movie, but like they recreate the movie, they recreate the suits really well.
It's really cool. It was just cool to be in the environment, I feel like.
Yeah. The scene itself is just like really well made.
Yeah. So we just wanted to tell you about that. So I guess that'll bring us into our weekly recap of the box office. This week was all right. At number one, Demon Slayer Infinity Castle has its second week at number one with 17.3 million, which means that domestically it's at, I believe, 104.7 million, which is honestly really crazy.
Wild.
Yeah, it's really crazy. They just announced today, the people, I think it was Crunchyroll or whoever's behind it, they announced today that they're going to be doing an awards push for the film, which I think is really cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
So have you seen the movie? Do you plan to see Infinity Castle?
Demon Slayer? No, I'm not a fan of like Demon Slayer at all. I just like the animation.
I think you said that last time.
Yeah. I'm probably not going to see. I'm probably going to skip that one. But I'm glad for its existence. I'm glad for its success. Honestly, like I think it's really cool that a movie like this can be as big as it is here in the U.S.
Yeah, for sure. At number two is where the film that we're going to be reviewing this week, Him, opened at 13.5 million, which is okay, especially because I think the word of mouth around the movie was really bad. So
yeah,
I guess it's lucky that it got that. So it opened at number two. And number 3 is Conjuring Last Rites in its third week in the box office. It's at 13 million. I also want to mention A Big Bold Beautiful Journey, which is another movie that opened this weekend. It opened at 6 with 3.5 million. So not the best.
Not the best.
But that's... Yeah, the marketing push for that movie wasn't too strong, so I'm not surprised it wasn't too popular.
Yeah, it's also like a weird concept to like try to sell. I mean, like I haven't seen it, so I still like really honestly can't get my head around it, and I also still don't know what the movie is really about.
Yeah, so I have seen it, so I'll be talking about it later.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's the box office, kind of in a nutshell, for this weekend. I have a few interesting stories. This week was pretty boring for Hollywood. Nothing really crazy happened. One thing...
that goes for the movies too, bro. Honestly.
Yeah, he's not joking. One thing I want to mention is that a while ago when Weapons first came out, it was announced. I don't know about officially announced, but there was rumors about a Aunt Gladys prequel. Yeah. So it was confirmed that Zach Cregger he plans to direct it. And then he says, "quote It's real, and I've been talking to Warner Bros. About it. There's a story, and I'm pretty excited about it. It's not bullshit." I think that's awesome. I think that's so cool that Weapons was successful enough to warrant a sequel. And I think it's really cool that he's coming back himself to direct it, because I think a large part of why Weapons worked was his flair that he brought to the film.
Oh, absolutely. Like, I can't imagine somebody doing something similar to that and it not being him. Me personally, I'm just glad, he's getting the attention that he is, and like he's getting the money and the investment that he is to like do kind of whatever he wants. I'm not like super personally excited for like an Aunt Gladys sequel, just because like I like the mystery behind it. I like the fact that like, or it's a prequel. I like the fact that like we don't really know. She's just this like weird witch lady with spoilers, I guess. Whatever. Yeah, she's just like this weird witch lady. But I'm still intrigued, like, and I'm still gonna watch it. Like, I'm excited to see whatever he makes, and I know whatever he does with the story of this lady, like, it's gonna be interesting. It has to be, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I think they should have it be called Gladys, and then have Sam Raimi direct, and then watch the box office explode.
Bro. No. Zach Cregger went into the studio. He put down Weapons on a whiteboard. Then he deleted the S and just put Weapon. And then they greenlit that shit, bro. That's what happened. That's what happened.
Oh my god, that's what's gonna happen, guys.
That's 100% what's gonna happen.
He's telling y'all the truth.
I was in the room.
Yeah, I was the piece of paper, in fact, so I would know.
Exactly.
Yeah. So the next thing I want to talk about, and I don't have too much to say about this. I just something I kind of wanted to mention. I believe it was yesterday that the trailer for the first Star Wars movie in theaters since 2019 dropped. Yeah. For The Mandalorian and Grogu, and I think I was incredibly disappointed. That's where I want to start this convo.
Okay.
For it being the first Star Wars movie in like almost a decade, and after being completely saturated with Disney Plus and all the streaming shows, and as someone who has seen most of those shows, that trailer, it just looked like a trailer for an episode of like a mediocre episode of the season. I mean, nothing interesting was shown. I mean, I guess Mando's whole thing is that he's a stoic, like, quiet character for the most part.
Yeah.
And which really works in the show, just because he normally has other characters around him as well. But I don't know, this trailer was just like mostly silent, and unentertaining. I'm worried about the movie. I think it looks low budget. Like, it looks like a TV show movie, but it's not. And I don't know, the castings are weird. Like, Sigourney Weaver, I don't know what role she's playing in the film, but I don't know, it just takes me out of it for some reason. And Jeremy Allen White as as Jabba the Hutt's grandson.
You're telling me you're not excited for Jeremy Allen White as
who's
whatever his name as Booba Hit, bro,
no,
or some
it's
shit.
Rattata the Hutt or something like that. Like,
no, dude.
I don't know. I just can't help but be like, damn, this is really what Star Wars has become. Nick, are you at all familiar with this? Interested at all?
Yeah, so I was very interested to hear your take on this, just like, knowing you as a Star Wars fan, also as a Mandalorian, as a person who's seen the series, right? You've seen every season, right?
Yeah, I love season 1. I love season 2, and I thought season 3 was pretty boring.
All right.
Pretty disappointed by season 3.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, like, I haven't seen any of it. I haven't seen any Mandalorian. I'm completely like I could call myself an enjoyer of Star Wars like movies, but that's pretty much it. Like, I'm not super deep into it. I'm not part of that, I guess. I I do think the trailer was really freaking ugly, dude. Like, everything is just so brown and white and like shiny
really
in a bad way.
It looks really bad.
It does, bro, and like nothing happens, like nothing, bro. The craziest, like their final moment of insanity was an AT-AT falling off a mountain, bro. Like that's nothing, bro. Like
it looks
what the fuck,
boring.
It does,
and I mean
one.
Sorry, keep going.
No, you go ahead.
So I was just gonna say that this movie, when I first heard about it, it was pitched as like the culmination of the Filoni-verse like content. Like Dave Filoni's like the guy who kind of handles a lot of the TV shows and stuff.
He did like the new Clone Wars TV show.
I
know he's like a very important person.
he's like a pretty big at Star Wars right now.
Mm-hmm.
And so this movie was supposed to be like the culmination, at least from my understanding. It was going to be like where the Ahsoka show and the Mando show and all this shit that I've been watching for the past few years kind of comes together to tell a cohesive story. And I just
to make it worthwhile.
Like I wouldn't be able to tell you. Like I said, this looks like just a trailer for the next mediocre episode of the show.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if this is like another Moana 2 situation where they were originally gonna make it for Disney Plus, and then they were like, no, you know what, like we could put this on theaters or whatever.
No,
you know what I mean?
This was since concept, or at least since announcement years ago, because Moana 2 they announced the year of that it dropped. Like they announced it in like January of the year. Like, this was announced a few years ago that this was going to be a movie. I guess the only cool thing that would tie it into the larger, like, Star Wars universe is Zeb from Rebels is in it for literally half a second. And I watched it twice. I watched it before this recording and then once, like, the morning of. And I didn't even realize that was him the first time I watched it. And then... I don't know.
I think what? He's on the poster, and Grogu is on the poster 3 times.
He is on the poster 3 times, and I think that this trailer had one job, and it was to show to people that this was movie worthy and to differentiate it from a streaming show, and it really killed my hopes for it. So I'm still gonna wait till we see more of it before I really make a final decision. But I think this was a big misstep from Star Wars, and they have to course correct because by the looks of it, I've seen no one talk about it, and so I'm sure they spent a lot of money on it, so they need to make that money back. And if this fails, we're definitely not getting more Star Wars.
Oh, absolutely not. No, the only thing I could say that like I guess is somewhat exciting about the trailer as an outsider looking in is. Like I like the focus on the creatures, I feel like they're putting a lot of like emphasis on like the weird little fucks of Star Wars, the Babu Fricks, the Glup Shittos, and I don't know if the show is like that, but I don't know, I like a Star Wars world where the least interesting looking people which are usually the main characters are in the background, you know what I mean, and then like these little freak fucks, puppets, whatever, are in the foreground. I like that idea for a focus of the story. But other than that, like I really can't say anything else positive about it. I don't like baby Groot, baby Yoda at all as a character. I think he's annoying. It pisses me off seeing on every single backpack and keychain and whatnot. And I don't know. I can't wait for when does this come out?
May May 2026.
May of next. Oh, okay, yeah, of course. Yeah, I can't wait for May of next year when my senses are completely overstimulated by Baby Yoda's ears.
I think it's the Labor Day release for next year. And just you talking about Baby Yoda, it's the last thing I want to mention regarding the Mando and Grogu stuff. They in season 2, I'm gonna kind of spoil the previous Star Wars stuff. So if you're planning on watching that, I guess spoiler alert. But pretty much at the end of season 2, he gives away, what's it called? He gives away Baby Yoda to Luke Skywalker. And then in a spin-off show of The Mandalorian, which was The Book of Boba Fett, which was an awful show. It only had one season. Terrible show. But there was one episode, I think it was episode 5 of that one, where it was literally, Boba Fett didn't even appear in it. It was just the Mando 2.5. And literally, he goes to Luke Skywalker, they get an Ahsoka cameo, and then he just takes Baby Yoda back. He's like, I want him back.
Are you serious?
Everything that he was striving for the past 2 seasons gets fucked up in the season 2.5, and then season 3 was just nothing. Like, nothing happened. Baby Yoda served no point because his story was already told, and it was dumb, and I had a bad sour taste in my mouth before, and then this is definitely not helping.
That's wild. I don't know if I don't know if I'd keep watching after that, bro. I'm not gonna lie. Like, are they making a season 4, or is this like it? This movie is it?
Like, I think this is like the season 4. This is like the. I don't know. Like, I don't know. I don't think season 3 did particularly well either. I don't think many people liked it. Like, it was going so well, and then shit just hit the fan.
I mean, all we can hope for is this. At best, this movie is going to be 3 episodes stitched together to make one kind of cohesive movie. And, you know, that's pretty much all you can hope for.
Is it, though? That's not all I can hope for, but...
I mean, here's the thing. Like, Jon Favreau, he's completely sold the bow on any sort of inspirational, aspirational direction he does. After The Lion King, bro, he's completely lost it. He can't, he can't do anything at all. Star Wars is completely, honestly, kind of low-key bankrupt as a franchise. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing much more you can do with it. I don't know what Ryan Gosling and whoever Sean Levy are going to do with the Starfighter. That looks kind of somewhat interesting, but other than that, like, you know, they're bringing back Daisy Ridley for their next trilogy.
I think it's a terrible idea. No one
doesn't sound good at all. Exactly. Nobody liked her. Nobody thought she was an interesting character.
I think they're just setting up the next series for failure. I think what they need to do is either go way, way, way back and show, like, before, like, they kind of did that with The Acolyte, but I'm thinking more, like, I know that there was rumors about a movie being made by, I think it was James Mangold, about, like, the origins of the Jedi. I think that's smart. Like, show us either that or go way, 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 way forward and have, like, Luke Skywalker be, like, a Jesus Christ type character that everyone, like a myth type of character.
Yeah.
They just got to get away from this portion of the lore. If they're going to actually keep it going, they gotta move away for sure.
Did they do any of that for the, like, I guess, like, before they decanonized it, for any of the alternate or extended universe stuff, like the books and the comics and whatnot?
I know they definitely touched on a lot of it. I'm not too familiar with that.
Sure.
So I'm not 1,000% sure, but I know they touched on a lot of it, but it's never been brought. I know A, now it's been decanonized, and B, it's never been brought to the forefront. And I think, I don't know. Like, if they're going to keep it going, at least keep it in an interesting way that grows the mythos and not just beating the same shtick, you know, to death.
Don't you want to see baby Yoda like a million more times, bro? Aren't you excited?
I don't want to see them freaking CGI mocap Luke Skywalker's face onto some random dude, like, who looked literally just like Luke. Like, it was nonsense. That... Being a Disney Plus watcher, like, between, like, 2021 and, like, 2024 was, like, painful. Everything Disney dropped was just a flop. It was so bad.
I can imagine, bro. Like, I didn't even pay attention to any of that shit. I was like, oh, cool, a new Star Wars show? Let me go watch Suicide Squad again or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, genuinely, like, I did not give a fuck about anything that Disney was releasing 2024, 2025, honestly.
Yeah.
Other than maybe
Um,
whatever.
yeah, so that brings us to the end of what's poppin' and into what we watched, which is where me and Nick show one or two like things that we want to mention that we watched in this past week. Nick, do you want to go first?
I am actually barren this week. I was just busy with school and work. I did
Okay.
not watch anything other than our movie of the week. But
Okay.
yeah, what about you, Alon?
Okay. Well, I was pretty busy for majority of the week. I did have a chance to watch a few things I want to mention. First off, I want to talk about the premiere of Gen V season 2.
Okay.
Which I really, really enjoyed. I think Gen V season 1 was a very nice surprise. It kind of came out during that slop era of all the Disney Plus shows, so I was just expecting it to kind of be in the same vein, especially with it being a spin-off. But I think they really succeeded with that first season, and they're really continuing that with the second season. I'm really enjoying seeing where the characters are going. I think it was really elephant in the room. There was a character, not a character, an actor death for one of the main characters in the show. He died in a motorcycle accident, literally, from my understanding, on the way to film season 2. So they did have to restructure the season, rewrite the season. They didn't want to recast out of respect for the actor, which I completely agree with. And I think the way that he's being handled in the season, he's definitely the emotional crux of the story. He's definitely looming over his effect is felt on the season without him actually being there, and I think it's handled really well. They bring his dad in as kind of a substitute for him, and they're investigating stuff, and it's only been the first 3 episodes, and I don't think I'm going to mention it again until the show wraps in 5 weeks or whatever it is. But I'm intrigued as to where it's going. I'm a big The Boys fan. I think it really is. It's continuing off of where season 4 left in an interesting way. It's building to season 5, and yeah, I'm very curious to see where it's gonna go. Have you? I know you said I spoke with you earlier, Nick, and you told me that you watched a little bit of season 1. If you keep hearing good things, do you plan to kind of catch up and watch season 2?
Yeah, I mean, I did watch the first half of season 1, and I was impressed with it up until like a certain point where I just felt like it was becoming repetitive. I don't know, for me it's kind of hard to really like jump into the boys universe, just because they can be so like dark and gritty and like edgy to a point where for me it just becomes like oversaturated. It just becomes like okay, I get it, the edginess is the humor, the edginess is what it is essentially, and it just kind of like it kind of like gets me. It's just like, okay, I want to watch something else, something like more refreshing. If I do keep hearing like good things though, I could see myself watching The Boys or Gen V season 2, just because like even with The Boys itself, like I only jumped in on season I believe 3, and then I just started watching from there after you actually recapped both season 1 and 2 for me.
Yes, I remember. I think we watched a few
Yeah.
episodes together, like in class.
Yeah.
Like
That was the first time I ever watched The Boys.
Prepping for season 3. I literally remember. That was a good
Yeah,
time.
you showed me that, and like ever since then, I've just been watching. So
Yeah.
like, I do like the show. I do think like it can do interesting things, especially with like, with superheroes and them being very like grotesque and gruesome and not afraid to go to these places. I think that's interesting. But it can just be overwhelming sometimes with the amount of edginess. I'm like, ugh, whatever. I do think, I'm very curious to see how they do deal with the death of his character, because he was one of my personal favorites in season 1, from what I saw. And yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'd be willing to watch it if I know the whole season is good. I think I might just wait till like after the whole season comes out. Then I'll be like, you know what? I'll give it a shot. See what's up.
Yeah,
and then I'll just finish season 1 as well.
the show definitely lends itself. I think The Boys in general lends itself to like binging, because from week to week, just shit's going down in every episode. So you're always just craving the next one. So I don't even blame you for wanting to wait.
Yeah, I mean, I'll see how I feel.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, how many episodes are at the moment?
They dropped 3 on last Wednesday, and then it's gonna be one a week every Wednesday since. So from recording this, it's gonna be one tomorrow, and
Got
then
you. And
until 8.
so from I guess this is like a hard to really judge or whatever. From like for those first 3 episodes, like have you? I guess like do you notice like a vibe shift or like a jump in quality from the first season at least at all?
So I wouldn't say a jump in quality, just because, like I said, I think the first season was a really well made, and really it was a really good show. This show had a kind of a hard task, I feel like, just because with the satirical nature of The Boys, literally criticizing what the MCU did with all the spin-offs and the streaming shows. For them to go ahead and do their own version of that, I feel like the show really needed to warrant its existence. And I would say the first season did that like really well. It was really well integrated within the Boys universe. It was really well made, really good story. Like, it was on the quality, if not better than some of the seasons of the Boys. I think it actually, other than season 3 is my favorite. And I think season 1 of Gen V is like my second favorite of like the Boys-esque seasons. So
that's crazy.
Yeah. And so I really enjoy that show, and I'm really excited to see where this one's going to go.
Do you think it's gonna carry the mantle after this being the Boys' last season?
I hope so, but also I really won't know until we see where this season ends up. True. And then I guess also where the Boys season 5 ends up, to see if how the world's gonna continue.
Right.
Yeah, I also really like the villain. The villain of the season is really interesting, and I'm curious to see what his shtick is.
Of this season?
Yeah.
All right. I'll give it a shot.
Yeah.
What's his like gimmick? Can you like say without spoiling? Or?
Yeah, so that's the thing. We don't know. Like, his name is Cypher, and we don't know what his shtick is, other than people fear him, and he's like very calculated and precise with his stuff. So,
is he the one played by Ethan Slater?
No, not Ethan Slater. Ethan Slater plays like the school where they go to is called Godolkin University. He plays Thomas Godolkin.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but so he's only in one scene in the first 3 episodes. It was like the cold open of episode 1. It was a flashback.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah. I mean, yeah, I might check it out.
Yeah, so that was Gen V, and also we just want to throw a quick mention to A Big, Bold, Beautiful Journey, which I've been seeing get a lot of negative reception online, which I don't really understand. I thought it was a really sweet film. It was very touching. I think the chemistry between Colin Farrell and Margot Robbie was really strong. They both turned in pretty good performances, I feel like. Okay. It was a very strange film, and so I guess I can see why some people wouldn't like it. But the best way I can compare it to is it felt like being in like a theater class. Some parts felt like being in a theater class doing like improv games, kinda. It's strange. It's a very strange film. I
mean, I know you're saying that as a compliment. I don't know if that translates to a compliment. Does that make sense? Like, it makes it sound like it's amateurish, kind of.
No. Just, it's a very strange movie, and I didn't know it was going to be strange going into it because I didn't watch any of the trailers. Yeah. But my review is just, we'll give it a watch and see if you mesh with it or not.
Yeah, I mean, I saw like maybe the first trailer, maybe the second one, I don't know. And honestly, one of the things that detracted me from really wanting to watch it was the chemistry between Colin Farrell and Margot Robbie. Like, I just didn't feel it, I guess. Like, it felt like, to me, okay, we need 2 somewhat big movie stars to star in this romance film. Who's available right now? Colin Farrell, Margot Robbie, pow pow, put him right there. Kind of how, like, okay, low-key, kind of how this Wuthering Heights movie by Emerald Fennell, it kind of feels like as well. Yeah. Just like, we need 2 big movie stars, Margot Robbie's available, whatever. And so, yeah, I didn't really feel the chemistry, I guess, in the trailer. That isn't the most fair assessment, but, it still, like, looks interesting and weird to me, but it also, I don't know. I feel like it doesn't I mean, I haven't seen the movie, so I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I really feel bad like talking about. I feel like I'm kicking a sick dog while it's down. Like, I really I don't know. It just looks. It didn't. There was nothing in the trailer, nothing in the poster, nothing about the movie itself that I don't know about. That isn't telling me like, oh, you need to come watch this right now. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. It's not like the best movie of all time, but I think it wasn't too interesting visually. It was kind of simple there, but it did the job for me. I don't know. It was a good romance at the movies.
All right. Well, you know what? Fuck it. I might check it out.
Yeah. So with that being said, since you have nothing to add that you watched this week, that brings us to the end of what we watched and into our main feature where we'll be talking about him, spoiler free and then spoilers. I'm going to start with a quick summary off the internet, and then Nick, you can start us off with your thoughts. So,
Alrighty.
Cameron Cade is a rising quarterback who suffers a potentially career-ending injury after being attacked by an unhinged fan. Just when all seems lost, Cam receives a lifeline when his hero, Isaiah White, offers to train him at an isolated compound. However, as the training accelerates, Isaiah's charisma turns into something darker, sending Cam down a disorienting rabbit hole that may cost him more than he ever bargained for. Nick, what did you think of him?
Yeah, so I did not like this movie. I thought there were interesting aspects of it. I thought visually it was interesting. If you want to go to the movies and like see, I don't know, like see like X-rays and bright colors and everything like that, and like it'll do that job for you. It is something that like, it is an eye candy in that sense, where like, oh my god, like these are really well composed images and like really good lighting, and there's interesting visual ideas going on, but I think that's really how deep it goes. Like it's a quite shallow film when it comes to actually saying things about like, football or like what is it, like hero ideation, stuff like that. Like it doesn't have much to say more than just what the concept itself brings. It's also quite long, or it's not long, but it just feels long when it just consistently feels that nothing is happening through the film, or just continuously like the same things keep happening that just keep confirming our already pre-established biases about these characters and what they're doing. Yeah, I mean, honestly, like in the actual text of the film, it's just not that interesting. I don't even know if you were a football. I'm not a football fan. I don't know anything about football really. But I don't even know if it'd be an interesting film if you're a football fan even. Like it felt kind of sloppy. It's just really sloppy. What about you?
I agree with you. To answer your question, I'm not a football fan. I mean, I'll watch football, but I don't really know what I'm looking at. You know what I mean? I'm not really. I don't watch, like I don't follow teams or anything. And I also didn't really like this movie at all. I think it was a kind of a waste of time.
Yeah.
I guess I'll start off by talking about the performances. The best part of the movie was Marlon Wayans as Isaiah White. Mm-hmm. His performance was odd. It was the best part of the movie, but I wouldn't say it was still a good performance. It was odd. It was really out there. It kind of reminded me of like Jared Leto Joker in a way.
I could see that. I 100% see that.
Like odd, like crazy vibes, but like just same way that didn't work in that movie. I wouldn't really. I guess it works in the context of the movie, but it was just strange. It was just I didn't mesh with it well. I don't think the character was discovered properly. I think there was more building, especially for a character like this that you can't just kind of throw on. I think there was more to learn. Like, I think there was more that Marlon Wayans had to do to perfect the character before actually making the movie. So maybe to make it maybe work better, but in its current state, I wouldn't say it was that great. Still the best part.
Yeah, like it really did feel like just a little bit about Marlon Wayans. It really did feel like one dimensional. It felt like the director told him like, okay, you're this crazy guy, and you're like trying to convince him like. It just felt like, oh, be subtle in this part, and then be all out in this one. You know what I mean? Like it didn't really feel like there was emotion behind, like genuine emotion or genuine, I guess, direction behind his attitude or whatever he was feeling in that for that specific scene. It was just like, okay, you're like level 5 crazy, now you're level 7 crazy. Grah, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I think it also might be a testament to Marlon Wayans being a comedy actor. He comes from a comedy background. Of course, he's behind the Scary Movie franchise. I believe he was in White Chicks. And so maybe if they had like an actor that's a little bit more experience with drama, then he would have been able to kind of carry the nuance in the shift from kind of normal to crazy. But, you know, he's not. He's from a comedy background, which is still difficult to do. I'm not dishing on comedy, but I'm just saying I think the performance leaned too much into the absurdity, the funny nature of it, than actually fitting the movie that it was in.
For sure. And that's honestly like one of the aspects that also had me even interested in the film in the first place. Is like, oh, the Marlon Wayans, he's doing this dramatic role of, you know, this guy. I'm like, oh, let's do, like, you know, he's known as a comedic, like let's see what he brings to the table. And honestly disappointed.
Yeah. The other well, I guess he would be considered the lead, Tyreek Withers playing Cameron Cade. His performance literally did nothing for me. He could have been swapped out with any other young guy, and it could have turned out the same, if not better. I found out that he did play football in college, so I was surprised to find that out. But he did play football in college, so there is some touch of football knowledge in this movie.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. I think it was very one note. They tried giving more backstory, which I'll talk about in spoilers, on his character, and it's not done especially well. I wouldn't say. I would, every time I saw him on screen, I would just be hoping it was Isaiah instead, which, like I said, he wasn't that good. So that tells you all I need to say about Tyreek's character.
Yeah, I feel like he gives like a good like scared puppy performance. You know what I mean? Like he's good at like kind of, I guess, not knowing what's going on, and just like being like a witness to like all this like crazy stuff, like being a good face for that. He has a lot of like facial emotions, but anything other than like, you know, for actual expository dialogue or just like anything that comes to like acting with your voice, acting with like, you know, your words, and this might also just be like a fault of the writing as well. I think like he really falls flat. He just becomes like another a cardboard cutout of like whatever other young actor could have been part of this role.
Yeah. Yeah. The movie also just felt long, and it's really it's really not a long movie at all. I mean, it's an hour and 36 minutes, I believe. That's nothing. Like, movies are typically like 2 hours, 2.5 hours, whatever. I mean, whatever, not typically, but, you know, for me to consider a movie long, it has to be 2.5 hours, something like that. And I was in this movie, and I felt like I was checking my watch every 10 minutes. It was going by so slowly. And then in the last 10 minutes of the movie, like, shit goes crazy. Like, it was so uneven. I think the trailer was really good. I was really excited for this movie. They plastered Jordan Peele's name all over the marketing.
That's their only marketing gimmick, bro.
Yeah. And honestly, if I was Jordan Peele, I wouldn't have let them put my name on this. Especially, I think this movie might do some damage to the reputation of Jordan Peele, because he's just known as being like the god of fucking modern day horror movies. You know, one of the greats of modern day, right? And I think just having this, like, him being so, you know, in the same name. Even when I told the podcast last week that I said we were going to be reviewing him, I didn't say directed by blank blank blank. I said produced by Jordan Peele. Him produced by Jordan Peele. He's just so in the same vein as the movie that I think just him being attached makes the movie worse because you expect a certain level of quality coming from it. And so it really
Bro
didn't.
wanted bro wanted weapons money or weapons food, but didn't have weapons money. Now he's eating him.
Yeah, no, dude. Enjoy him.
Bro, it's yeah, no, honestly, like it is kind of low key embarrassing for Jordan Peele. I kind of get it. Him wanting to like put his name behind like these talented, or at least somewhat talented potential artists. And I'm not like, I feel like this movie had potential to be like something interesting, and even the director slash writer, I don't know if he actually wrote it. Let me rephrase that. The director, Justin Tipping, like he definitely has an eye for like visuals, and he knows he could direct something interesting if he chose a better script, or if he wrote a better script. I'm unfamiliar. I feel like we should look that up before I keep talking. But
Yeah. I'll find out for you. Keep going.
yeah, thank you. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like there was a lot of potential here, and I'm honestly just disappointed that it kind of went nowhere. Going what you said, like, yeah, the movie just felt really repetitive. It kept hitting on the same notes, and something that also didn't help with that was the lack of sets. I noticed it. Like, there were two main sets without going into any spoiler. There was like the training area, and then there was kind of like the personal, I guess, like room area.
Yeah.
And there would be no variety between any of them. It'd be either or between whatever the scene needed, and it would switch. And it just like, I think that a lot also didn't help with that feeling of staleness that the movie just keeps going through. And they have this like 5-day sort of like structure to the film, at least to its editing. But I really honestly like don't feel the difference between any of the days. There's no real change or shift that happens in each of the days that really makes one significant than the other. It's just there to add a sort of unneeded structure that really like adds nothing. It adds nothing.
Yeah.
And it just makes the film feel even longer. Like when that fourth day, what is it called, tighter car time, I was like, bro, we're only on day 4. Like, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah, they
yeah,
really don't. They really don't make use of the space, like you said. Also, I want a quick note: the writers. He did co-write it. And there was 3 writers credited on the film: Justin Tipping, Zach Akers, and Skip Bronke. But yeah, he is one of the writers on the film.
Okay, well then there you go.
Yeah, it wasn't, like you said, it only took place in those locations. There wasn't anything. They didn't define the area nice. Like, we know it's supposed to be some like amazing, like off the grid compound, but we don't see the compound. We don't see what we're working with. It's just kind of lame. Just in general, what we are being shown, like the visuals of the movie, are like kind of weak. Like, sometimes they look really, really nice. Certain shots could look really nice, and then the next shot could be like an X-ray skeleton that looks like a bowling like strike screen. You know what I'm talking about?
I kind of, yeah, I do. I kind of like the X-ray parts just because like I do think it adds that variety, and it does say like a little bit more about how there's this one line in the movie, without spoiling, that says like, oh, like our bodies weren't built to like run into each other and like bump into each other or whatever, because they're talking about football. And I feel like the X-ray shots kind of like emphasize that meaning, the meaning behind that line, just because like it makes everyone feel like, yeah, kind of like literally like a skinny little skeleton, that like it makes everyone feel vulnerable.
I agree. I think the movie needed something to like emphasize that humans are breakable. But I just think what they went with was bad. I think it looks bad, and it takes me out of the movie. I think it's funny.
For sure.
I think it's funky, and it I don't know. It didn't look good. Not much I can say. It looked like shit. I'm gonna be honest, and it took me out of the movie every time it happened.
Yeah, and also going to one thing that you said right now was like, I really do feel like the movie could have done with making an actual point about football and about the fact that like, this is like, at least what they're saying, a barbaric sport that like makes people kill themselves and lose their brain cells before the age of 50. It says that, like, it says like, oh, this is dangerous, but it never really has any point to make behind it, or it just kind of like falls to the wayside of what the movie is actually trying to do, which is be scary or be, you know, exciting or whatever it is. Like, it has nothing to really say about anything other than what has already been said and what has already been known about football.
The whole movie is show don't tell. Tell don't show. We're just told that this guy Isaiah is like the best football player of all time, and that he has 8 rings or whatever. But do they show him doing anything football-esque? No.
Mm-hmm.
He's, you know, he's whenever he's coaching, in quotation marks, coaching or teaching Cameron, whatever you want to call it, he's always sitting. They never show like any highlights of his games or anything. It's just, you're supposed to believe that this guy is the best football player of all time, and you have to believe that Cameron is like the biggest up and coming prodigy of all time. And it just, and that's the very like core of the movie, is you believing that the relationship of like, this is like the big rookie that's gonna become the GOAT, and then the actual current GOAT right now. And it doesn't work. It really doesn't work, and I guess that's why the movie as a whole doesn't work.
Yeah, I think that's, can we go into spoilers? I feel like
yeah. I was about to say, I think we're totally ready to move into spoilers. If you haven't seen the movie and you plan to, now's a good time to click off. You can go ahead.
Alrighty. Yeah, I mean, it just, I also just like, okay, so there's this one aspect of the film that they introduced at the very beginning, which is like, you know, him and his father, the main character, I mean, and kind of like the whole reason he likes football to begin with and everything like that. They really push hard on this, like, also Jesus imagery and, you know, just like general religion. I don't know if they're making a comment on like how football is religion, or how Isaiah White is Jesus, or whatever they're trying to say about like that whole like everything about it. It just kind of, it's like another theme to just add onto the mesh, onto the slop of whatever this movie is, and it just like it doesn't make any cohesive sense, especially by the end, where he decides to like give it all up because he doesn't want to do, because in actuality he didn't want to do this at all, and just is doing it for his father. I thought, you know, where that twist went with like him being like, I actually don't like football, I actually don't want to do this, I thought that would have been an interesting idea if they played out with it. Maybe, I'm not the writer, I can't say what they could have done, but like, you know, like maybe like in the middle of the compound training session he's like, I actually don't want to do this, and so he like tries to escape or something like that. I don't know, it just felt like he was just going through the motions.
Yeah,
until the very end.
It was a flick of a switch from him like loving the sport, it's his thing, to like,
yeah,
I don't want to do this anymore.
Exactly, and it just felt completely like unearned after everything, after like literally fighting for his life to eventually get the contract, and then to just be like, no, you know what I mean? It just felt like, okay, well then, like, why not? I almost felt like it would have been interesting if he signed the contract, and then like we could have had like that ending where like, oh my god, like even worse stuff is gonna happen now, or something like that. I don't know. It just it felt very weightless to me. Like, I got what they were trying to do with it. At the end of the day, I guess I could respect it, but
yeah,
it felt like a decision from one to the other.
The whole dad backstory, like you mentioned, just didn't work in the movie. It's barely, it's like mentioned for literally seconds at a time, like seconds here, maybe they'll show a few second flashback, and then they'll be like, oh, my dad treated me badly, made me strive to be just like you. But like, we don't really see that happen. Like I said before, it's just tell, don't show. So much telling, so much just info dumping, exposition dumping, without actually showing it to you. It just makes everything feel unearned and uninteresting. I didn't like... I literally have in my notes written down, I didn't like the journey or the destination. Because sometimes they say it's not about the destination, it's about the journey, right? Because, I mean, we'll get into the ending after I finish this thought here, but I thought the ending sucked. I thought it was maybe the worst part of the movie. I didn't like the destination, and God knows I didn't like the journey. So, what is, you know, the ending has like a weird, like, cultish vibes, where they show that like being the goat is essentially like a loop. It's like a cult loop where like the rookie becomes the goat and then indoctrinates the rookie, and they're using the same blood as like the first person who started the cult or whatever. And it really happens so quickly, and they're not clear enough about it, and it really didn't work for me. I thought it was so odd and stupid. It was weird. I don't know.
I'm gonna be so real. I completely forgot about the blood aspect of it all. Like,
yeah, it was such a like they made it seem like such an important part, but they mentioned it once and never again.
That's what I'm saying. Also, just one quick side note about the dad thing. Like, they also just keep bringing it up throughout the film. Like, oh, this
multiple
is what your dad
times,
wanted.
multiple times, and it doesn't matter.
It doesn't do anything. Like, it doesn't mean anything. They don't add any depth to it. I feel like that's the only character that they could have thought for Cameron. Like, the only thing he wants is what his dad wants. But there's no actual, like, person behind what Cameron is. Like, what does he want? Like, they never spend any time developing that, or they never spend any time making me think that he actually cares about what he wants, just about what his dad wants. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I agree totally.
There's nothing to him. And yeah, about the blood thing and everything, I think that's just like a bigger symptomatic problem of the whole film, where it's just like things are happening in which they're, like, I guess shown in a way, like through editing or through effects, that like, oh, this is a big deal, like this is like a big, like, you know, things are changing, but there's no change within the characters or within like the setting, or just there's no change within the world of the movie that like really makes anything that's happening significant. Like, for example, when he gets injected with the blood for the first time, he just like crawls around the floor for a little bit, and then he's fine. You know what I mean?
And he's fine. Like, okay. Yeah, nothing matters in this movie, which also, you can't get me to care if nothing's gonna matter.
Exactly. Also, like the initial like hit with to the head that Cameron takes, he's also just kind of fine. Like, he takes it, and then there's like those like few little scenes of like, oh my god, my head hurts or whatever. But like, there's no real change in his game. He might just like be playing poorly, a little bit poorly.
He smashes his head into the head of another like player that he's training with, and he's fine. They don't.
No. Not even that. Well, that too. But I'm also talking about the first hit, like the when he first takes the hit to the head.
I know. Yeah. I mean, like, they show he's in pain. They show it bleeding a little bit, but like at the end of the day, like, he's fine. And
he's fine. Yeah.
There's no real like you know. A few days later, he's smashing his head into another player's skull, and he's literally good. He's okay. Like nothing happened.
He's also fine.
It's weak writing. It's weak writing, and it's weak storytelling.
It's completely weightless. And also, like, there's like this like drug that he's like keeps taking, or that he keeps being forced to take, and then eventually takes himself. And like, you would think that like this is gonna be a bigger deal. I feel like a big problem with this movie is that I, as an audience member, I don't know what is real and what is, like, I guess could be like an illusion or part of whatever. Not that they really play with illusions for the film, but just like there's it I feel like it exists on this like on this plane of reality that just is like artificial or like kind of hallucinatory. And I don't know if those are just like my own personal theories as to like what could be going on, but I just really don't know what is genuinely going on. Like, there's so many like little weird moments happening throughout the film that just like people don't address and don't really like you know, just really have any effect on anything like we've been talking about. And another film that like I wouldn't have necessarily a problem with thinking like, oh, is this real or is this like not real? You know what I mean? Mm. But I feel like with this film, where the stakes are interwoven with like the physical damage that these people are taking, like the brain injury, the bones, the skin, whatever, with like so much of the importance of the film being like what happens to their bodies. I need to know what is actually happening to their bodies versus what is just in their head.
Yeah, that's the problem with watching a film like this, that like it's trying to be deep when it's not, is that like it's trying to give metaphors and visual illusions and this
exactly.
and that. And it just starts to become like an undistinguishable line of what's real and what's the illusion, like you said.
Yeah, I was just like so bored, and I just couldn't stand it anymore by the end. I was like, okay, this just needs to end quickly because I'm no longer interested in whatever happens.
Yeah, yeah. I don't really have much else to add to the movie. Do you have anything?
Not really. Uh, I guess don't watch it. Not even if you're a football fan. Maybe if you're a
Yeah,
football fan, you might get a kick out of it, but
I would
yeah.
definitely say if you wanted to watch one of the new releases from this week, go give A Big Build Beautiful Journey a chance,
There
rather
you
than
go.
giving this one a chance. Yeah.
100%.
So that brings us to the end of main feature and into what we plan to watch. This week, just keep continuing Gen V. Another Peacemaker episode is dropping this week, and we're almost at the time where we can discuss it on podcast. I'm excited. So
Yeah.
I know that this is supposed to be one of the big episodes. Episodes 6 through 8 are like the big ones, right? So this is going to be kind of the start of the conclusion of the season. So I'm very excited to see where that's going to go. What else do I plan to watch? I hope to catch some of the Spider-Man because they're re-releasing the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies in theaters this week or this weekend. So I hope to be able to catch all of them, but hopefully at least one of them. I would love to see one of them at least. And I guess the last thing I'm considering doing is tonight at my local Regal, they're showing Cinema Paradiso. So
Ooh.
yeah, and so I'm seeing how my day's gonna look, but maybe tonight I'll go and treat myself and go see that. Nick, what do you plan to watch?
Yeah, actually, this week I'm gonna to make up for this week's lack of films. I plan on watching a good amount of movies next week. I have Vertigo for Thursday because they're putting that back in theaters. I'm very excited for it. 2001: A Space Odyssey on Friday, and Close Encounters of the Third Kind on Saturday.
Nice.
All three I have never seen before, so this will be
Excited to hear your thoughts. Very, very excited to hear your thoughts.
yeah. I'm just excited to watch these movies in theater. Like I've been meaning to watch them forever, every single one of them. But I just
Yeah.
they came to theaters, and I was like, this is the perfect time.
For sure.
I can't pass it up.
I agree. So that's it for episode 6 of Popcorn Problems. Thank you guys so much for joining us. If you made it this far, you're the real MVP. We'll be back next week breaking down Paul Thomas Anderson's newest film, One Battle After Another. Very excited for that one.
Very excited for that one.
In the meantime, feel free to hit us up on socials at Popcorn Problems Pod and let us know what you thought of him. Don't forget to follow, rate us 5 stars on whatever platform you're using, and DM us your hottest takes and suggestions. See you next time. Peace.
Have a good one.